is now 4 minutes after 10 o'clock. I want to say a very special morning to the Up and Go family. Have yourself a wonderful day, Richie B and the crew. And also a very special morning to everyone gathered on the Bridge 99 FM. Always good to have you on the bridge. And a very special morning to Team Untengle as we untangle straight through till 1 in the afternoon.
Well, due to how many different ears, we put the stuff to help them make the
on the Bridge 99
hey,
FM.
Make a explain something to them young people here. You don't pull up poetry, you know?
You don't pull up poetry.
You don't pull up poetry.
When they lick them, we don't know.
But can I tell you something? We play poetry. You know we play poetry all the time.
Course,
but when we play this one named King Street, look at the man. Man. Anyway, hold it down, no rooms. So, this is a wonderful way to introduce Sheldon. Because we've been playing this King Street song for a while. As soon as we got a copy, we've been playing it. And one of the good things about it is it is just wonderful to see people doing all the latest moves to poetry. You understand?
You know, that one blow their mind with it,
yes.
Because they don't understand dub poetry, that it is musical words with a potent delivery and message and vibration. The message is really important, but the rhythm.
Yes.
When you feel it, man, you have to move, man.
Yes. Because a lot of times people would say that the dub poetry sometimes not entering mainstream as much as we would like it to.
Yes.
But here comes King Street.
Here comes King Street. You
produced
know what I mean?
by Sly and Robbie.
Oh, gosh,
who
man.
understand exactly what Main Street is all about.
Exactly.
And we just want to say congrats to the entire team on this production, King
Man,
Street.
Beautiful. And tap note of magic too, you know. We're at the studio where we just work and Slice perform the piece. I'm sit down right beside him. I'm just perform the piece. And him stays up on him drum machine. I'm just build things and him build it and him say, go and make a layer demo now. I'm gonna go over the studio. I'm gonna go over there and lay the demo. And then me get an email say, oh, Radiodread gonna play it, you know. Just like that. Just like that. Mix it, master, slide edit, boss. It boss him head when he work for it. I go to go with some music, boss your head and kick your head and everything there, you know what I mean? So while he was working on it, boss him head too.
Nice, we love
sending
that.
Radigan, you want to see Radigan message? What him send?
What him say?
Radigan say, yo, this is it.
This is it. Absolutely, this is it.
With exclamation.
Yes, man, it is it for true. But let me ask you this though, Sheldon. Is it a real story?
Yeah, well, my father's story, it's very real. It was written by Daddy.
Oh,
very real story. It was, remember there was this blind man at Times Store.
Yeah.
We spoke about that in it.
Yeah.
And there's a part the singing it when I'm saying on the sidewalk people sprawl off. So what it is it goes on the sidewalk people sprawl off like a la 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 la. But then it is on the sidewalk people sprawl off.
Okay.
Yeah, them black the way them won't make we pass. Yeah. Them stand up and attack. So them love our government to decorate up the park. You know what I mean? So that was the vibe when Daddy wrote it, and then there was the man that sat outside of Times Store as well and played his saw. The
That I
blind man
didn't.
will play him saw.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So all of it is one Saturday morning, King Street, me or somebody ball off a thief. When I hear the sound of rushing feet, I'm look, it was a thief the people ever beat one Saturday morning. You told me the different years, I could have stopped here, them lick the youth face. So I walk like a more near Times Store. I saw a man sitting at the door with him man outstretched. I don't know whether I'm blind or I'm deaf, but that not nothing yet. If I get it, best you could tell me what I saw right beside him. The blind man just play with him saw.
I didn't understand that part.
Yeah,
Play with him saw.
yes.
So when I heard that part, I was saying,
if it is kind of rock, but that's the problem of poetry.
Yes,
Your mind, if you're not thinking many things and myriad of things when the poet gives you those 2 lines on a paper, then I wouldn't call it poetry.
or if it is, it would be quite boring.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, it's even with a singer. You know, sometimes I know this is going to sound very strange, but I have found, I don't know if it's my creative madness. You see, sometimes when a singer too clear about what I say, everything clear, and you understand everything, I'm like, duh. You know what I love? When me have to say, what him say? What him just say?
What mean? I wonder.
What mean?
That's why bamboo pipe even trick people. Because the piece Bamboo Pipe is so refreshing when that piece came to me. That piece, uncle, he passed away, Carlos, my uncle from St. Thomas, him passed now. Him took me to a brethren, upon a mango farm named Archie. Big up Archie if you're listening right now, you know what I mean? And Archie, it was Archie's lifestyle that inspired that piece. You know what I mean? Being isolated out of the system. And uncle, they lived in the hills for a while and said that, oh, we don't want to use Babylon food. We don't want to do Babylon thing. We don't want to do Babylon this. So they isolated themselves, drank from the spring, plant them own food, eat them own things. So bamboo pipe inspired that, and them have them own little empress with them in a them little cabin, and the vibe of love is there as well. Nobody argue, man. We could just steam up. You know what I mean? That kind of vibe.
Nice.
So that's the piece, bamboo pipe. So it's really about, it's the Jamaicanness of our interaction and what makes us Jamaican. And its simplicity. That is why I didn't put any music on the project.
Look here now, talking about the project, I've just gotten a CD, Bamboo Pipe CD, so I don't have a clue what's on the CD.
love it.
But that's okay, because you're here.
Yeah, man.
So we can have you... Is Bamboo Pipe an actual poem, or is it just a CD name?
It's an actual piece. It's an actual poem.
Could we hear it?
Yeah, man. A rain a fall, but it dirty tough. Dry gully machete won't broke. Come darling, squeeze me tight. No fight, sippy bamboo pipe. Sippy bamboo pipe. Sippy bamboo pipe. The brother dwell up in the hill of St. Thomas. Brother dwell up on a mango farm. Brother drinky water from the spring. Every second the brother bathing. Brother love hitting the hot rod. Brother love to sip the bamboo pipe. Brother bless I with a bamboo pipe. I know I'm an in bamboo delight. You know what I mean? So
Well, Sheldon, as I sit here watching you, you know, there are those of us who perhaps are more into poetry than others, right? But one of the things that I actually admire about Sheldon and the group No-Maddz, because for those who are watching while they saw us on the radio is what we say.
Yes,
So for those of us who are watching us on the radio, you would recognize Sheldon as a member of No-Maddz. And for those who have never heard or seen No-Maddz perform, I'm talking particularly about those who are overseas, it is just an experience like you've never had before. So let me ask you this now, Sheldon. For your average person who kind of used to them like a dancehall thing and the same old, how have you gotten them to come over to your side and understand exactly what you're about and the poetry and the music and the aesthetic?
Well, you know, it's really the effort to get people to understand the work is not primary for me. The effort to get them to understand me is not primary for me. Primary for me is really to create something that's resonates with me and speaks, you know what I mean? So when it come to me, because I don't go searching out for these things, these babies, these pieces, these words, I don't go searching for it. I can't. The only time I search to write anything is when I'm being paid to write. Where you give me something and you say, write this, you know what I mean? Otherwise, everything just comes as a message on the wind, a whisper on the wind. So that is what I really, really cherish. Not necessarily marketing this thing so that people understand it. I say, if you're compelled to stop and listen, you might find the gem. You know what I mean?
I get you very clearly, because there are times when I will play, especially in this new scene, new space that I'm in, and I will play poetry. And when I first started, like, you know, my team is like, oh, like yourself, I don't business with them.
No.
I don't business with them. I am just doing what I love to do. And Sheldon, just doing what you love to do, it is just so amazing to see when them get it.
Yes. And that is the beautiful part of it, you know, when people even understand what breadfruit is the new bread baby means.
Yes,
You know what I mean? Poo. You know what I mean?
Yes,
You see
yes.
me? I mean, look for it and I say, wow, because it's never, it's never surface for me because we see surface every day. What is the experience that I'm giving with art? What is my purpose here? Am I just a trendy guy who regurgitate everything that I see in order to just make a buck or to be popular? What is my vibration? What is the individual? What do I have to contribute? So these are some of the questions that I really ask myself early days. And this is the answer, bamboo pipe.
Yes. and that's how greatness is born. Greatness is not born by doing the same old, same old. So let us talk about bamboo pipe. What was the inspiration behind it? What made you actually compose it?
It's the
CD.
The CD, the project. The idea is dub poetry as a genre and as our primary folk form that influenced so many things. Miss Lou influenced Bob Marley and Harry Belafonte. You know what I mean? And Miss Lou is dub poetry. You know what I mean? Call it what you will. Miss Lou is musical poetry with potent lyrics delivered for a particular purpose. Dub poetry. You feel me? And most
first
of these
dub poet.
First. You better know, you know what I mean? So then most of these people get inspiration from that kind of message in the music and message in the words. Message that will motivate a proper moral vibration within your community. That's the energy. So then now when I will say it's really to pay that respect to the genre. That is why I didn't even put any music per se, live instruments on this project. So it's really to pay respect to the genre and to pay respect to the country and the community that gave me the inspiration to actually put forward this type and maintain this folk form. I've been maintaining this folk form for enough years now.
I know.
You know what I mean?
It was interesting what you said, that in order to maintain the art, you didn't put any music behind it. And that is just so interesting, because if you had put music behind it, it would be a genre.
It would be a genre, and then it would be called, because everything from Jamaica is called reggae.
Yes.
So once I put drum and bass on it, people are gonna say, wow, wicked reggae song. You know what I mean? But when I leave it naked and I put it forward, even out there a while ago, reasoning with the young men engineering brethren them say, which genre this, man? Which genre? And I say, don't make them limit with the genre. More like feel the feeling, because if I put drum and bass on it, you would say, wow, the reggae are bad. And if I put two dancehall jump on it, you say, wow, the dancehall are bad. I have drop some strings on it, you say, wow, the classical are bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then now we tend to use the instruments, which is fine, to direct our answers, our response and all of that. So I wanted to show you that dub poetry, when it comes to you, it comes with the music in the words. It comes same time. So when I do so now and deliver it, you will hear jazz. Just now you heard Mentor in bamboo pipe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you're using your vocals as the instrument.
Yeah, it's how it came. It's how it come to you. It's how it come. It come with its own meaning too. Because some of them I don't even define it as a genre, because sometimes these pieces come and they don't come with any known resonance of a genre. So then now it will be dub poetry.
Absolutely. All right. So we were talking before we came on the air one day, the other day, and you mentioned that it was a project that you submitted to the Grammy. Let us talk about that, because after we spoke, I went to Google and I'm saying, I didn't know that Grammy had a spoken word category, but they do.
They do.
Let's talk about that.
So I was sent, as a matter of fact, I didn't know that the Grammy had a spoken word. I know that the Grammy has they have a audiobook category.
Right.
So then now, Walshifire messaged me one day with a flyer from the Grammys saying that spoken word category, and then A&R messaged me with the same flyer. I got like 5 different flyers that day. So I'm like, okay, it's like them knows me have the project, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I had the project. I have all the projects. I have a series of works, you know, lined up that I intend to share. You know, over time. And the bamboo pipe, because it's so naked and bare, it's the first in the series to share. You know what I mean? So I see it and I say, I would call the A&R Bridget and I say, wow, man, what do you think? And him say, well, timeline is upon us. You know what I say? It's ready. And I found that image that I love it's an accidental image. A friend of mine just snapped it, and I'm just like, wow, this is so beautiful. And I got it fixed for the cover. Just everything just happened so organic in the flow of me just flowing in Jamaica, flowing in my environment. And we submitted it, and
that's like, Bamboo Pie.
Yes, that's like Bamboo Pie. We submitted it on the last day of submission.
Oh my goodness!
but it's not like I can talk about it because it's just in. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm up there in the 5 or up there in the whatever. But it was just so cool to know that the very first time this thing pop up, and I say, all right, you know what I mean? Nothing else, nothing behind it, nothing. Just spontaneous vibration.
And this is art.
Yeah.
Even just that vibration is art, you know. Spontaneity is creativity too, you know.
Of course.
So there we go. I'm loving all of that. So it there is such a thing as spoken word in the Grammys.
In the Grammys, brand new.
And it would take someone like you to actually tell your other colleagues that, hey, my virgin, my sister, we can go in and grab it, you know. That is just so exciting. So exciting.
Don't it?
Yes. So it is submitted, and I guess when we the next Grammys, we're going to.
No, we don't know if them like it, you know. But the thing is, it's a voting process. You know what I'm doing?
Yes, I do.
It's a voting process, and you can't really, you're not supposed to be promoting and advertising to say, yeah, look at
you're not supposed to,
because it's not. It's like I submitted something for review.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I hear you.
And if the community finds it interesting or whatever, then the people who vote will, through everything that they see, maybe 1 million. You know what I mean? They will look through it and pick an amount that they want to say. Who do you want out of this, say 5 or 10?
Because what people need to know is that there's a huge spoken word community, international community out there. So for those who hear us playing spoken word here on Jamaican radio, they don't question it anymore. But before they were like, why is she doing that? She doing that because there's a whole world.
Proper genre.
And
people been lobbying for this thing, for spoken word to be in a part of the Grammys. People been lobbying for it for years, and now it finally forward within this time.
The next lobby is going to be for, will the spoken word practitioners be able to go on stage now and collect it? And it don't have to be us.
No,
it just needs to be a spoken word practitioner.
Of course.
Where do you see the future of not just spoken word, but dub poetry?
Well, to answer that question, I would say I would tie it up within art, like the future of art and Jamaican art. The future of Jamaican art, it is beautiful when I look at it. I see, because the world is gearing towards a more artistic outlook. People are reading between the lines. People are looking into things for meaning. They're looking at the name The Bridge and wonder why you guys named it The Bridge.
Exactly.
Knowing that you bridge so many different radios all over the diaspora. So it's beautiful.
Right.
So people are looking for meaning in simple things, and you'll find that in art. And you when you decode a piece of art, it's what you take from it, and it's not necessarily what the creator wanted you to take sometimes. You know what I mean? So then now I think it is an exciting future. I think that, and it's something I love and I've been practicing, and I think it is a viable future, you know, financially. I think it's a viable future. Basquiat just sold Jean-Michel just sold a piece for something like, I don't want to quote, but something like 70 million US dollars, a piece of art. And I actually held a piece of Basquiat on cartridge paper. It looked like my son marked it up with crayon, and it was $500,000 US dollars.
Right.
We were at a museum, a gallery in Brooklyn, and the Virgin say, you want to see something? I'm going to say, yeah. And he carry me in a little back room and lift off some fabric off or something and take off one little cartridge paper, about half of one cartridge paper, a quarter one cartridge paper, with Jean-Michel scribbles on it.
And that's art.
$500,000 US dollars.
Sheldon, we're running out of time. But look here now, we still have to talk.
Yeah,
you mentioned that people are now looking more into the art of the performance and the art of it. I said to a young composer, musical composer the other day, where do you get your audience. Who is your audience? You know, because you know he performs and his music is just instrumental. And I said to him, "Who is your audience?" And he said to me, "Mama, there's a whole wide world out there." And he is so right. Because why I say this is because when I see, let us say, No-Maddz on stage, it really breaks the monotony of what we have come to accept as a performance. So you're looking for something different. I am looking for something different. When I go to a stage show now, I want to see some theater.
Of course,
I want to see some drama.
Of course,
you understand?
You want to laugh, you want to sigh, you want to cry.
Yes.
You want to say, yo, you want to touch your friend and say, yo, you see that?
Watch that.
You know what I mean?
The brother shows.
Where's the excitement?
Yes. Where is the excitement?
But no, we use shock value. We use buffoonery sometimes, which makes sense. But the shock value is, it means like we do anything for just that shock, to shock the audience. We do anything, no matter how. We don't even have a plan for it. We just do it. You know what I mean? We don't create and say, well, look at this impact that I'm going to make with this delivery or with this particular thing. So you find that a lot of the younger artists, they're trying things, which is good. I love to see that them trying things there. And they're actually putting their bodies into it. Because I can view art as art, and I can view the body as art. How people use their tattoos, how people use even their bleaching, whatever their choice is to present their art, I can see it as art. But not many young minds can decipher art. You know what I mean? So then now they will think that that is law. If they're not educated to decipher, to understand art, they'll think it's law, and they'll think that it is the right behavior for a normal, natural, everyday life.
You mentioned buffoonery. And No-Maddz give us some buffoonery.
Of course.
But you know the difference, it is intentional.
Yeah, man.
And that is what the difference is. It is done with intention. So where do we go from here with this bamboo pipe now?
Well, bamboo pipe now, I would love for Jamaica, the people, to get it. That is why it is available for free.
Okay.
Anyone jump on my page on Instagram, they just click in my bio and they can download the full project for free and listen to it and be your own judge of it and see how it resonates with you. I would love to hear poetry without music on the radios, man. Not just a little bit of one little something, but more so a full-on expose. Maybe one day you sit down, take for instance my project or another one, Bamboo Pipe. We go through the pieces and we talk about them, we expound on them and make the youth them here say, wow, this have meaning deeper than just what is, you know what I mean, presented.
Perhaps we can do that now. We don't have any time, but you can tell me what track that we can play and briefly we talk about it.
We can play
Tell me a number.
Wow.
Let me look for it quickly.
Yeah, because we'd like to do that. We'd really like to do that. I tell you something, Sheldon. If I had my way, I would do this at least once a month. At least once a month.
Play track number 8.
All right, let's go.
And She Danced, written by
Let's
Daddy.
play track number 8.
And she danced. Yesterday, I hid and watched a lady as she danced. She was dancing to a song that of African origin, and the sound of playing drums was prominent throughout the dance. She mimed her way to the music, hips pulsating, her posture flexible yet rigid. She danced and she danced and she danced, and as if she knew I was watching, turned, glanced in my direction, and unceremoniously skedaddled, leaving behind me, caught somewhere between an excellent performance and a new appreciation of African music.
Look here now, and she does. Can I just say this? Let me tell you my opinion of just a little bit that I've heard. It's poetry, but it's conversational.
Indeed. That was a critique. I was at the Poetry Society at Edna Manley Tuesday, the once a month thing, and I was there for the very first time I actually went.
Yes.
I always wanted to go. I went there and there was this poet, Maverick his name is.
Yes.
And he was doing a piece, and him doing peace, and we don't really like critique unless we're being paid to judge. You know what I mean? Because I don't really want to judge nobody,
Yeah.
So anyway, him ask round, him ask people for judge him, and I say, do not make Maverick ask me for judge him. So him ask me for judge him, and you know me and my truthful self. But his piece was well, but him never communicated. Him never create that conversation, so him lose some audience along the way. And after me say it, everybody started saying, oh yeah. And then he did back, him kind of revisited a line, revisited a stanza, and presented it in a communication style. And everybody was like,
Yes. Yes.
So conversation is very important.
Very, very important.
To convey a message, you have to.
And you see, as we talk about genre, poetry have genre too, man. Because you have the roses are red, violets are blue poem.
Yeah, man.
Then you have the
man.
hardcore poem,
man.
like the Onora kind of poem.
Of
And then you have
course.
a conversation.
Yeah, man.
Sheldon,
Give thanks.
why are we limited by this thing called
Time. Roots Underground said time is an illusion.
Wonderful talking to you.
Yeah,
and
man.
I could go on and on, but for those who are interested, and that should be all of us, because it's really it's dedicated to all of us as Jamaicans. Bamboo Pipe is
Bamboo
out.
Pipe is ready.
Is ready. and it is also submitted within the spoken word category, the Grammy spoken word category. And for all of us who love spoken word, we are now going to be eagerly watching to see what happens in this category. Not if we win, just what happens in this category.
Yeah, don't it?
Don't it?
We'll be excited. Be excited to see what it's exciting,
Yeah,
man. It's exciting.
So, it's wonderful talking to you, and I know that your ability to act really enhances your ability to converse, and then your ability to converse also enhances the way that you see it. Look here, me done. We're gone, yeah, man.
Give thanks.
Lovely having you sitting
Thanks.
beside me.
My pleasure.
All right,
Every time.
it's 11:45. We're going to take a break. And we're just about ready for the global connection. And of course, we're streaming live to the tri-state. And in a few, I need to see the face of Beauregard, and then I know already.
Good afternoon, Mama Kelly.
Or at least the laugh.
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing? How is everything?
Very good, thanks. And you?
I'm doing great. Despite what we're hearing happening in Florida right now, I'm really and truly feeling.
What's happening in Florida right now?
Well, Hurricane Ian hit last night.
Yes.
So there are a lot of devastated citizens and residents of Florida today. Thousands of people tried to ride out the storm, while thousands also left ahead of the storm. But upon those returning home, they're seeing that their homes are damaged, their homes are not there, homes are flooded. I saw on the news today where a lady was standing in the front of our house out on the street, and she couldn't look on our microwave.
Oh goodness!
In the kitchen, in the house.
Oh Lord!
That's how badly the damage was. So a lot of impassable roads right now. A lot of trees are down. Cell phone towers are down, so it's hard to get to a lot of friends and family.
Any particular part of Florida?
It was supposed to hit Tampa, which it did not directly hit, and St. Petersburg and those areas, but there's still the flooding that took place, and the 150 mile per hour winds also. It was a category 4 by the time it hit Florida. So a lot of devastation right now. Homes were crushed and things of that nature. So
have you ever thought about if something like that were to hit you? We wouldn't survive that, We couldn't survive that,
Yeah.
And I'm sure this is why we are spared. We could not survive it. Wow.
I know, Mama Kelly. It's really crazy, and they say they haven't had anything like this on that side of Florida for a while now. One gentleman who was on TV said he's lived there for 10 years, and he never saw anything like that. He thought he was safe, but I guess you're not safe anywhere.
Oh my goodness. And with the weather patterns changing, we're seeing more of this kind of hurricanes that we've never seen before, storms at intensities that we've never had before,
and the thing is, like, them just line up behind one another, just coming in like airplanes getting ready to take off or to land. It's just crazy.
It's a season for it now.
Yes. Yes.
So wow.
Very, very crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of states have handed help to Florida. So I believe about 30-something states have sent aid groups to Florida. So they're all rushing to Florida right now, You know, cause the water they high, Mama Kelly. It look bad. Enough people trapping at them homes, cannot move. You know, so they have to wait for rescue to come. Power lines being in the water and all of those things. So, you know, all that is dangerous as well. You know, people getting shocked and stuff like that.
Wow.
Well, they say it's headed towards some parts of Georgia and North and South Carolina by the end of the week. So we'll see what happens. Maybe by tomorrow it will hit South and North Carolina.
You know, if the nations of this world don't take this climate change serious, the earth is going to be, at some point, if we don't deal with it, uninhabitable, you know. And it is as serious as that. And I'm wondering if we really understand that if we continue like this, the place that we call home, earth, will be uninhabitable. It will be too cold. It will be too hot. And storms and water will just be rushing in, and you know, we really have to take this serious.
Yes, we do. And it's up to us. You know, we have to make sure so we take care of where we live. This is our environment for live. There's nowhere else that we can go live, Mama Kelly, but
Exactly.
You know, them a try go space for how long now and all of this, and it's still not happen. Earth alone where I live.
Well, you have some people have some next place where them can go, but me and you cannot afford it, darling. so we might as well make Earth as habitable as possible, because
and there's so much space on Earth. Like, you know, when you really look at it, Mama Kelly, there's so much land that is not yet what's the word I'm looking for?
inhabited.
People don't inhabited. You know, people do not live there as yet. You know, the ground hasn't been broken yet for homes. And yet we tend to live in these cities and just pile up on top of one another.
Exactly.
I go up into the sky like.
And it's a beautiful planet. It is just such a beautiful planet. But we're just not taking care of it. We're not taking care of it at all. And this is the result of it. And we had been warned. True. For decades we've been warned.
True.
But we just don't take it serious. But now we see the results, as we said. We see
you
the
know
results.
that this us talking about this climate change takes me back to a song that Wise Words did.
Yes,
Mother Earth,
yes.
something to that effect.
Yes,
a very powerful
him
song.
listening there now on the internet to him did I listen.
Oh, see.
Yes, yeah,
Bless
man.
up Wise Words, yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Even a song I heard you playing yesterday, on Tuesday, which was Yaxter's Humans.
Yes.
You know, talking about taking
Selfish
care of the
humans.
Earth. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, man.
So, you know, that's another thing that is so very important. We were talking up to Sheldon Sheppard a while ago as to how important it is for artists, poets, musicians to be in on these conversations within the music. Because a lot of people, sometimes that's the only time they hear the conversation in a song or in a poem. So it is so important for all of us, whatever it is that we do, selectors, poets, we have to be in on these conversations.
All right. True. Wow.
Woo!
Well, I must tell you that Jamaica did lose to Argentina the other night. You know, even though it was a wonderful occasion for Jamaicans and for the Reggae Boys, you know, we give thanks for that opportunity, regardless of what, because a lot of those Reggae Boys, you know, for them to play against a big team like Argentina,
right.
It was really a, you know,
it was true love.
It's true love. A lifetime experience for them. So, but we did good. I mean, we held them off, you know, just 1-0 until the superstar forward in the game, which was Lionel Messi.
So him scored 2.
Come drop 2 more.
Yeah. Yo.
So we did our best. Try to hold them off, you know.
But as you said, you know, it must be quite exciting to play a team like that, you know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. What do you mean, man?
And the Jamaicans were out, you know, a lot of them came out to see Messi himself. Argentinians came out as well.
Jamaicans came out to see Messi.
Yeah. What? Mama Kelly, may I tell you, a lot of Jamaicans went out to see Lionel Messi because they know they might not see by getting them lifetime in real life.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes,
so,
I do.
Yeah, so they came out to see Messi. I saw a lot of them posted. I said, boy, this is my one chance to go see Messi, you know. So may I go.
Reggae Boys probably came out to see Messi.
Of course, they were taking pictures too.
Yeah,
so,
man.
You know, yeah, man.
See him, sir.
I wanted to show you a photo, Mama Kelly. Do we have the photo ready, Irish Jenny? Okay, let's put up that photo. Mama Kelly, we were talking about Florida. This is what some of the people had to do in Florida to try protect the house. Look at that.
Wow. Man down. No.
The man strapped down him roof.
With what? Is what that?
Some things they used to hold speaker box, and like people who move heavy things, they use them to strap them down on a flatbed truck and things of that nature.
Does this person understand the power of water?
The man strapped down the roof, Mama Kelly. That means if him roof now blow, we're gonna know it.
Is that a fact? Is that a fact? Really? No, I hope this didn't happen, but I can picture the house floating with something them still pan it. No, because you can see the house with the yellow something them pan it, and the yellow something them fly all over the place. No, darling.
You would be surprised what people do, Mama Kelly, when it comes to desperation.
Yes, true. If it's even just a peace of mind, even if not no go so, cause nothing no go so. But it's like Tuesday when me I show you this something from downtown and you say, but could them to know? I so got it. I got it. You know, it's the same thing came to me because the lady them the funny cat like something goes so. When it's like this man now, him strap up females like something goes so. What no goes so?
There's a story that I saw coming out of Jamaica, Mama Kelly. I'm not sure if you heard of this one yet. A man reportedly shot and killed
his son,
his 15-year-old son.
Will Marion, of course.
Yes.
And the circumstances. What a sad situation, though. He thought it was a prowler. He thought it was somebody coming in.
And you cannot blame. I don't know if you cannot put any blame anywhere in this situation.
It's just sad.
It's sad.
It's just sad. And it tells us, you see, this something where the security minister talk about shoot for wherever. See, you can't. You have to. It's tempting to do it, and one understands why it happens. But in everything, you have to be conscious. You know.
What did the security minister say?
Say if you just shoot and no ask no question, just but I must see the crime plan that me don't know. Just shoot and no ask no question. Me can't bother going away him say. But this is one of the saddest stories we've had for quite a while, you know?
Yes.
Because, you know, when I read the story and after I sympathized with the young man who died, immediately my thoughts went to the dad. Him going to have to live with that, you know.
You know, just to let our listeners know what's going on, a 15-year-old boy was killed by his father after he was coming into the house at around 3:15 in the morning, and the wife woke up and said that there's someone breaking in, and the father immediately jumped up and saw the shadow and fired shots.
But I'm wondering if they didn't see that the young man wasn't in the house.
You know, it could have happened so fast, Mama Kelly, as his wife said, what she said, that someone is breaking in immediately out of his sleep, just to the shadow, and, you know, heard what she said and reacted.
Yeah.
You know, maybe didn't have no time to go check to see if his son was in the house or in his room, whatever the case may be.
And then it happened so quick, the young man couldn't bawl out, "Daddy, is me."
And then the person was outside coming in.
Oh, Lord. That is a sad, sad story. And both mother and father are going to be left grieving because them going to take it personal, because it is personal.
Yeah.
But you know, when all is said and done, it's easy for me to say this, but we can't lose our mind. We always have to be conscious of and intentional about everything that we do, because if not, more of this will happen. And it's easier said than done, because the way all the place around here now in Jamaica, you just go and try fire before him fire. And that go on, you know. You go try beat him to it, you know.
Yes.
And just that go on.
Yeah. Unfortunate situation. Very sad situation.
Very, very sad.
Just before we take the break, Mama Kelly, rapper Coolio, I don't know if you know who rapper Coolio is. Yeah, he died yesterday evening at the age of 59. They found him dead.
Oh, I didn't hear that one.
Yes.
Condolences. Wow. I tell you something, Beauregard. You see, this life here is something that we have to consciously try to preserve, because nowadays is the easiest thing to lose it.
Yes.
And we're talking about all ages, no special age. Sad.
One life, and you have to cherish it and live it the best. Yes.
There's just so many stories. I mean, my phone rings sometimes. When my phone ring or a beep come up, I am nervous. Want to say send a shout out to friends of mine in Florida, Marcy and Bonnie. They had a big scare the other day because I don't want to go into the details, but we're just flesh and blood, We're nothing. What they say, what is man? What is man?
A man is just a man.
Fortunately for them, no loss of life. But what is man? Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to take a break, right?
All right, Mama.
All right, cool. Oh, I love to hear the commercials from Beauregard's side. Market Diamond. Patty. You understand me?
And it's the same here. It's vice versa. I like to hear the commercials from Jamaica too.
Market Diamond. Patty. Yo. Okay, so we have live on Zoom. Michael, you there?
You hear me?
Okay, I want to see you.
Okay, here I am.
Yeah, all right. I'm seeing you now. All right. Okay. So you're seeing us and hearing us?
Yes.
All right, beautiful. All right. So for those who don't know who Michael Goldwasser is, he's a producer, a songwriter, and a musician who has produced reggae albums such as Dub Side of the Moon and Radiodread. And I became familiar with him when Sister Carol handed me this CD called Look for the Good, and she is featured on the CD with the singer Jason Mraz. Welcome to Irie Jam Radio and the Bridge 99 FM.
Thank you so much for having me. It's as someone who makes reggae music and I'm not from Jamaica, it's always a great honor to be on the radio in Jamaica. I never lose sight of where the music comes from and give it respect. So thank you.
Absolutely, we love that. And it's interesting for us too, because we always want to know or hear from someone like you. What nationality are you?
I am Jewish.
Oh, you're Jewish. Okay. All right. So you're Jewish American?
Yes.
Okay.
So my roots are in Israel, my homeland.
You were born in Israel?
No, I'm saying my roots.
Oh, your roots. Okay. So you're Jewish American and you produce an album or three with reggae music. How did you become acquainted with reggae music?
Well, I grew up in New York City, and you're surrounded by so much music, and my parents always listened to all different kinds of music, and I remember hearing reggae from a pretty young age, and actually I remember at a certain point seeing the connection between reggae and Rastafari and my Jewish upbringing, because many of the lyrics that, say, Bob Marley or Dennis Brown would use are actually from Jewish scripture, but then obviously funneled through Christian scripture and then taken on by the Rastafari movement.
Give us an example.
Well, like in Judaism, we say "Eben masu habonim haital rosh pina," which means it's a proverb, and it means the stone that the builder refused will be the head cornerstone. Okay. And I heard Bob singing this lyric, and it all connected to me that we are all connected in some way through this history and through our human condition. So it made a lot of sense to me. And then, of course, I enjoyed the music. As a musician, I enjoyed learning how to play reggae, and I went to see, every reggae artist passes through New York at some point. So at a pretty young age, I was privileged to see Third World, Steel Pulse, a lot of the great artists. This was back in the 80s, and now I've actually befriended many of them. I was actually just in the studio with Steel Pulse a couple nights ago here in New York, and it kind of blows my mind to be a young kid listening to these artists and now getting to work with them. So it's really an honor and a blessing.
Okay, we're streaming live to the Tri-State now, and my co-host is Beauregard, and I know he has many questions for you.
Okay, well, first of all, what's funny is that I live not far from Irie Jam Studios.
Really?
I was up there with artist Jesse Royal, who I work with. I was up there a few years ago, I guess before COVID, and I didn't realize it was 20 minutes drive from my house. So that was a fun thing to find out.
Good afternoon, Michael.
Good afternoon, Beauregard.
Greetings. Where in New York were you born and raised?
I wasn't born in New York, but I grew up in Queens, in Little Neck, which is northeast Queens, right near the Nassau County border. And I went to public school starting in 7th grade in Manhattan, and that really opened up my world too, because people from all the 5 boroughs, kids from all the 5 boroughs went to this school. And so I met so many different cultures that I hadn't yet met living in Queens.
Okay.
What it is, no, you go ahead, Beauregard.
Go ahead, Mama Kelly.
Okay, what it is, because I know you experienced many different musical genres, right? What it is about reggae, because this is something that Jamaicans want to know. So I'm asking on behalf of my Jamaicans, what is it about reggae that not only just inspired you, but intrigued you to the point where you now have produced more than 3 reggae albums?
Yeah, I've actually produced probably more than 20 reggae albums.
Wow.
And I always try to stay true to the roots of Jamaican reggae, and I work with many Jamaican artists who I've learned so much from, you know. And so what brought me to reggae, besides the connection to my Jewish upbringing, was I love lyrics, not just about the spiritual things, but also about fighting against injustice, looking for equal rights, social progress. I was very drawn to a lot of UK reggae, not just Jamaican reggae, like Steel Pulse. Their lyrics were very much about what was going on for Black people in the United Kingdom in the 70s. And that I just, you know, as someone who cares about social action, reggae spoke to me on that level. And then musically, I just really felt the vibes. I felt the beat. You know, I think, like, even if there's a reggae song that I may not love, I still might listen to it just because the music might be good, even if I think the lyrics are not great, or even if the song itself isn't great, just the vibe usually gets me and most people moving, you know, so I really appreciate that.
Right.
You know, speaking about the vibe and having the love for the genre of reggae music, you could have became a DJ like myself, someone who plays the music. What made you decide to be a producer, someone wanting to create it?
Oh, wow. Well, I started out as a musician and as a songwriter. And so I just wanted to keep doing that. And I actually did DJ on the radio for a while here in New York on WKCR 89.9 FM. I had a jazz program for a couple of years because I love jazz. I love all different kinds of music. I love good music. But yeah, I have this musical talent that I've been able to have grow over many years. You know, I started playing when I was a teenager, and now I'm not a teenager. And yeah, it's like this gift, I guess, that I can give positive music and vibes and lyrics to the world through reggae and through other styles as well. But one of the things I'm most proud of is being able to break down barriers through combining reggae with other styles of music without watering down the reggae. See, I produced this album called Dub Side of the Moon, which was there's a very famous rock group from England called Pink Floyd, and they had an album called Dark Side of the Moon, which is one of the best selling albums of all time. And so Easy Star Records, my label here in New York, we made a reggae version of it, and we know, because people have reached out to us, so we know many people have said, I never listened to reggae, or I didn't like reggae. I thought reggae was a joke, but because of your album, now I love reggae. I've gotten into all these different reggae artists, Jamaican reggae, and we really broke down some barriers with that. So I feel very happy to be able to share reggae music with more people who might not have ordinarily checked for it. And I've been able to continue that work by working, say, with pop artist Jason Mraz, which is how Mama Kelly discovered me, and spreading the vibes even further.
There's something that you said that really intrigues me, because we've always prided ourselves on the fact that reggae is a revolutionary genre. And we always knew that it was bringing people together from all different parts of the world. But hearing your response as a Jewish American, it brings it home to us that, you know, suffering and unfair injustice and that kind of thing is a human experience and not necessarily just our experience. So when we express our experience, it connects with so many different cultures.
100%, definitely. I think, unfortunately, many people outside of Jamaica think of reggae as like music they might listen to in the summer or music for a party, and they're looking for the more pop, happy side of reggae. But if they were to really listen to a wide variety of reggae music, they would get that there are very important messages in a lot of reggae songs, and that these messages are universal. So just like any form of music, you know, it can be used for positive means. It can be used, you know, sometimes negatively, you know, some slack music that I don't always agree with.
But that happens with every genre.
Yes, exactly.
It's just it depends on the one that you choose, whatever it is. You know, go ahead.
You know, Michael, I was going to say that, well, this is what I have to say. I believe personally that reggae music is the most powerful genre of music there was ever created. When it comes to the positivity, some of the things that you have already stated, the messages, you know, the motivation behind it, fighting against injustice and things of that nature. Reggae is the most powerful genre there is out there that's ever been created. What are some of the key elements to your creative process when it comes to creating reggae music?
Wow, that's a very interesting question. Thank you, Beauregard. You know, sometimes, say, as both a songwriter and a producer, I don't have a set method. You know, it's kind of, sometimes I'm inspired, I come up with a lyric first. Sometimes I come up with a drum pattern or a chord sequence. Often, though, I do come up with a bass line first, because as I'm sure your listeners know, the bass line is what defines a rhythm usually, or at least before dancehall, when some dancehall doesn't even have bass in it, as crazy as that may be, you know. But writing a good bass line, I think, is really what then sets the table for the rest of the track or the song. But yeah, I can be inspired by all different things. Sometimes I just want to tell a good story, you know, and sometimes it's more about setting a tone musically and then coming up with the lyrics. And of course, there's always, you know, collaborating with other writers and musicians, which can lead to a lot of magic.
Nice, beautiful. Sister Carol is who made me listen to your album, because she actually gave me a copy of the album. When you do collabs with Jamaican artists like Sister Carol, what is it that you look for when you invite us?
I mean, I'm looking for them to bring what they bring. Like, if I want Sister Carol on a song, I already know what I'm getting. I've known Sis for, wow, I think we first worked together 25 years ago. So I know if I call upon Sister Carol, I know what I'm going to get. I know the quality, I know the vibe, I know the musicality, you know, and generally I work with artists that I'm familiar with their work, so I know what I will get from it. In this very specific case, for the Jason Mraz album, he had a song, Time Out, which was about his appreciation for taking time out from the world. And I had turned him on to Sister Carol a couple of years before we recorded this. And I also know that Jason, as someone who really does care about forwarding the human condition, he really wanted to get as many female artists featured as possible. And so he was very excited by the idea of having Sister Carol be on this song. And when I reached out to Sis and Dino, her husband and manager, they were both very interested in the idea. And I think we came up with a great collaboration that everyone's very, very happy with.
Excellent collab.
Yes, Michael, the question that I have for you is the very first time when you reinvented someone's work and put it in the reggae genre, what was the feedback that you got from them?
Well, actually, we got some nice. The very first time was really doing this Pink Floyd album, which became Dub Side of the Moon, and some of the members of Pink Floyd did say that they really enjoyed it, which felt great. But more importantly was that their fans, many of them, seemed to accept it, because when we first released it, this was in the time when social media wasn't even really a thing, but people used message boards a lot. And we saw on a lot of message boards people saying, like, we heard there's going to be a reggae Pink Floyd album, and we know it's going to be terrible, and these people shouldn't be doing this. It was sacrilegious. They even used words like that, you know. but after, because people take music very seriously, you know. Right. And after we put it out, there were a lot of messages on these same message boards saying, wow, this really worked, you know, and that's how we learned that people were getting turned on to reggae through this.
Nice. Tell us a little bit about Jason Mraz, because his voice is so soothing.
Yeah, well, Jason is he's a great guy. We've become great friends, and he has a song called I'm Yours, which has just on Spotify alone streamed much more than 1 billion times. And that's just Spotify. Wow. So if you add up all the different ways people can stream music, Apple Music, which I know is more popular in Jamaica and other parts of the world, and if you add in all the people who bought his song or bought his album, his downloads from when it came out over 10 years ago, you know, billions of people have heard this song. So he has every right to be a big star. But in his mind, he's just a humble guy who just wants to do good for the world. He lives on an avocado and coffee farm in California. He does everything organically. Another thing he has in common with Sister Carol. A really beautiful person. He actually donated his entire advance for this album to various causes, including Black Lives Matter and some local organizations that help the youth. So he literally puts his money where his mouth is. Mm-hmm. And he really, truly appreciates reggae music and understands the spirit of it. And that's why, to me, it wasn't weird to make a reggae album with him being a non-reggae artist, because it totally worked. I mean, first of all, we used musicians who could play reggae, including some Jamaicans. And the vibe totally worked. And the reason the album is called Look for the Good, I think is an interesting story that I'll try to share concisely.
Don't share it yet, Michael. We're going to take a break, right? And when we come back, we're actually going to play the song, Look for the Good. And then good. After that, you can share your journey, all right?
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Michael, let's hear the story.
So, several years before I even met Jason Mraz, I was in a synagogue, and the rabbi was sermonizing based on the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 27. To paraphrase, it says, if you look for the good, you will find the good, but if you look for evil, if you look for the bad, you're going to find the bad. And that really struck me as being so true. I'd never really thought about it before. I try to live my life as an optimistic and positive person, but that just became kind of a mantra for me. Like, in any situation, I want to look for the good. It could be a terrible situation, look for something good about it, and you're going to find the good. But conversely, if I were to focus on the bad stuff, I'm just going to find the bad stuff. So that kind of became part of my personal philosophy. So when I met Jason Mraz and we decided to make an album together, I told him about this just as a way of thinking. And then later, when he asked me to make some music with him, I wrote the music for it, and I titled it Look for the Good. And I said, I want this song to be about looking for the good. And he took that, and we co-wrote, he wrote most of the lyrics about his way of looking for the good and everything. And to me, it's just so interesting that it's from the book of Proverbs that some say was written by King Solomon, who obviously many people know that there's a direct line between King Solomon and Haile Selassie.
His Imperial Majesty, yeah.
So he wrote these words, say, 3,000 years ago. And then, you know, in the year, 2017, I hear this sermon, and I decide to, I didn't decide anything at that point. I became part of my personal philosophy. And then a few years later, I write this song with Jason Mraz, a huge pop star with a reach of millions and millions and millions of people. Mm-hmm. And we create this reggae song using a philosophy from 3,000 years ago. And to me, it just shows the universality and the relevance of positive messages throughout time.
Michael, let me just tell you this. You see, when I listened to that song, I really felt inspired. And it's interesting that you would talk about His Imperial Majesty, because His Imperial Majesty said that we must come together on what affects us all. And I find this song to be so unifying in a time when there's so much division among races, religion, ethnicity, and all of that. This song just brings it all together, don't you think?
Well, thank you. I mean, that's certainly part of the purpose of this song, is to bring people together and to encourage positive vibes and therefore positive outcomes. And I will say, being someone who's been doing music for decades now, I know the positive power of music, not just because it can break down the barriers of people's thinking like, oh, I didn't like reggae, now I like reggae. But pretty much every musician I know doesn't see, well, everyone sees color, but doesn't act upon that. You know, like musicians tend to love humanity and love people and love all kinds of music. Most musicians I know from Jamaica, they don't say I'm a reggae musician. They say I'm a musician, you know, and I think that's also around the world. We're musicians. We want to bring music to the world, and it brings people together. You know, we just need to open our minds and open our hearts to it.
Right, absolutely. And you know, every time I play this song, you know, people because we're on the internet, so people from all over the world identify with it. And in my opinion, as someone who you know, plays reggae and known to be a reggae connoisseur, that's my mission. And that's the mission of reggae music, to bring people together, to bring cultures together, races together. And this is a perfect example of doing just that, looking for the good in everyone. Everyone meaning everyone.
Yes, everyone and everything. You know,
exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
Really, it means a lot to me that you said that and that you recognize that. Thank you.
Okay.
Lovely. Michael, what I wanted to ask you is, you know, I know what it's like for a producer to hear his music being played, you know, in cars, on the radio, in parties and things of that nature, and for artists as well, you know, to even hear their music being played all over the place. But there's much more credit to your name. What is it like when your music is used in TV and movies? What's that part like?
Oh, that's it's obviously very, very nice. I don't mind. It spreads the music. Usually, though, it's somewhat in the background. It's not such a big feature like if it's on the radio. But it's certainly spreading the music further. It creates an income stream, you know, for myself and other people who write the music, which is always great, and the people who make the music. And you know, if the people the music supervisors who are in charge of putting music in film and television, I think they sometimes have a very narrow view of reggae, you know, but if they listened to all different kinds of reggae, they would see how it could be used even more in film and TV, not just to be like, oh, here's the party, they're playing reggae, or oh, those guys are going to smoke some herbs, so
or the gun tune.
You know, it's reggae can fit in anything, you know. I mean, I don't know if you are familiar with the movie Babylon that came out, I believe, in the late 70s or 1980 or so, and it starred Brinsley Ford from Aswad. It was made in England. And Dennis Bovell, the great producer and musician from Matumbi, he did all the music for it.
Excellent musician.
Yeah, he scored the movie, and it works perfectly, you know. And it doesn't, you know, yes, it's reggae, but it's also an effective tool for scoring a movie, you know. So I wish more people would open their minds to that.
Michael, I know that your music goes all over the world, and Jason is a Grammy winner. But how does it feel to know that your music is being played on Jamaican radio?
Well, it feels great. I mean, one of the first things I said was that I was just very honored to be on Jamaican radio at all. But there would be no reggae without Jamaica, and I hope that everyone who does reggae recognizes that. You know, there are some American reggae acts that are, just by virtue of their age and generations, they're somewhat divorced from the roots of reggae. but I like to think that they all will discover the roots at some point. But yes, it's a great honor to be played in Jamaica. Jamaica is obviously it's the home of reggae, and almost every artist that I love and admire in reggae is from Jamaica. Although some are also from the UK, but most of those their roots are also in Jamaica. And it's a great privilege to work with so many great Jamaican artists. I've learned so much from them. I used to work a lot with Sugar Minot, may he rest in peace, Frankie Paul. I've worked with so many artists that I grew up listening to, like I mentioned before, Third World and Steel Pulse. And reggae has so much to give to the world. Jamaica has so much to give to the world through reggae and through other things. Sometimes I don't want to get political, but sometimes I wish that whoever's in charge in Jamaica and the government would be more forward thinking about using reggae or promoting reggae, because it's such an important part of Jamaican culture.
Well said.
But I don't have any say in what goes on in Jamaican government. But
we need a. I think you go ahead, Boog.
What's next for you, Michael?
Well, I just am finishing up another album in the series of reggae reinventions of classic albums. I can't say what it's going to be yet. It's going to come out in early 2023, but it features artists like Steel Pulse is on it, Maxi Priest, some great up-and-coming Jamaican artists like Mortimer, Samurai I, Naomi Cowan. We have the great American artist Macy Gray, who's more known for doing soul and jazz, but she did an amazing reggae track on this album. So I'm very excited about this album. And Easy Star, so this album is by the Easy Star All Stars, my band with Easy Star Records. Easy Star Records also has an album out right now by a group called Sundub. They're based in New York. Really great roots reggae vibes. They have a single out called Jump and Dance featuring Lutan Faya, and they have another song coming out featuring Peter Morgan from Morgan Heritage that's coming out soon. And early next year, we're going to have albums by Mortimer and Samurai I on Easy Star Records, and some singles coming out hopefully pretty soon from them as well. Really, really great stuff. It's roots reggae, but it's expanding. It's progressive. Right. It's just like the things that we've done with Jesse Royal and Protege. Trying to keep our eyes on both the past, the present, and the future all at the same time.
Michael, you're calling some artists, especially the younger ones, names that you're calling some artists from Jamaica who we're very proud of. These youngsters, we're very proud of them, and I'm very happy to know that you have, you're working with them and you're giving them a little difference. Something, you mentioned people over your side of the fence not particularly, fond of reggae and getting to like it now. We have the same issues over our side. We tend to be very protective of reggae. I'm sure you know that, right? And sometimes we don't even like to know that people like you even doing reggae. That is changing too. So there's a great change in the universe, and we're just glad to know that we can all be a part of this great change and this unifying experience.
Yeah, I agree. And to some people I know, yes, they might not like the idea of me making reggae, and everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But as I've already twice pointed out in our discussion, that reggae was also influenced by
other genres
and Jewish culture, because of Jewish scripture. And the iconography of the Lion of Judah that comes from Judaism, and the idea of Zion, so Mount Zion. So we're all connected. We can share in all of these things, hopefully for positive means and positive results.
Running out of time. Beauregard?
All right, well, Michael, thank you very much for being here today, and I just want to wish you a happy new year.
Thank you so much.
And a blessed Yom Kippur when it forwards.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Mama Kelly. Thank you, Beauregard. It was a pleasure.
Okay.
And I'll be forwarding my email address to Mama Kelly so that some of that great music can get to me when it's ready.
No worries.
I'm sure you'll love the one with Sister Carol Beauregard. So we're going to
Yes.
close off with that one, right?
All right, no
All right.
problem.
And lovely talking to you both. Beauregard, have a wonderful weekend. We're always doing it and we're going to continue to do it. See you?
No problem, Mama Kelly. You have a wonderful weekend.
You too. Bless up.